Hey guys, this is Ripper with the 6th Virtual Fighter Wing. Today I'm going to try to do a quick little video to show you how to create a simple tactical engagement and then how to fly that tactical engagement. This video is geared towards people who are trying to get into Falcon BMS but don't really know where to start. So first off, I'm going to link to a video, by Kraus in the description, and in it he shows you how to set up your controller, how to set up your stick. There are certain buttons and functions you need to be able to proficiently fly Falcon. So watch that video, get your stick set up, and then come back. Once you come back, I want you to set your skill level to recruit. Make it as easy as possible to fly. Okay, let's go to tactical engagement. And we're going to go to TE Builder. And then I'm going to zoom in here close and find a small target to attack. Let's do right click status. This is a heart site. There are bunkers, underground post. You can click recon and it'll show you a picture of the site. So first I want to make sure that the American flag is set. Then I want to right click, add flight, and I'm going to fly to block 50. Actually no, let's have some fun. Let's do the block 30. We're going to fly out of tempo. We're going to start at takeoff. Okay, looks good. Now you can change the flight plan by moving these steer points. I'm going to change them just slightly. Alright, so we'll fly kind of a triangle. We'll take off and then we'll fly out right. This button right here is your munitions. And yes, this is why I picked this, the Block 30. This is the 457th Fighter Squadron, Texas Air National Guard out of Fort Worth. Alright, let's see here. Let's load. Okay, I'm going to take the wing bags. Let's do some marking 2s. I'll show you how to drop bombs with a CCID. Alright, once I have my air-to-ground target set up, that's good. I'm going to click the flag to change to North Korea, and I'm going to right-click, add flight. Now I'm going to add some Bear bombers, Tu-95s. And the reason why is I want them slow and easy target just for you to kind of shoot at. Start takeoff. Flying training. Okay. Now I'm going to adjust their flight. Okay. We'll set this back 10 minutes and save. Save this test T1. Alright, once you have the T set up, then go to save, test TE, commit. And I'm going to pause time, check our loadout. I'm going to make sure we have a targeting pod. I'm going to show you that. Other than that, everything else looks good. A few things on your loadout screen. Your max Mach is 0.9, so we cannot go supersonic with this configuration. We are Cat 3 because we have bombs and bags. Once we drop the bombs, we will go Cat 1, and it will probably get us in the fuel tanks before we attack the bombers. But this gives you kind of the idea. You have 12,000 pounds of fuel, your clean weight is 18,000, you're carrying 8,400 pounds of bombs, gross weight is 39, your max weight is 42, so we're under. Maximum G limit is 5.5, maximum airspeed in knots is 550, Mach is 0.95. Okay.
All right, listen up.
Look at the briefing. Now the briefing gives you your target. We are targeting the heart site at Panmun. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. Destroy bunker at site. These are our steer points. The time respected time on station for these steer points. Distance, headings, altitude, comments. So steer point 7 is our attack. This is what we're carrying, our wingman, weather. In campaigns or other T's, we have threats. You may have a section that says threats and tells you what to expect, air to air or air to ground. You can hit this print button and it sends it to a folder and you can print that off. A lot of times that's what I like to do, is I like to have this printed off and so I can see this time. Alright, we're set up. I want to make sure I'm in on the lead. Then we hit takeoff. Now, don't worry about starting off on the ramp, start runway to get going. Once you learn more about the sim and you start to get comfortable, you can start learning how to ramp start. It's really not hard. It's just a sequence, and you just really have to learn how to do that sequence. Okay, here we are. We are in the sim. Shift print screen gives you screenshots. Alright, let's take a look. Okay. So first off, let's talk about a few things here. We have two screens. They're called MFDs, multifunction displays. Left is usually your fire control radar, FCR. These buttons you can swap through the pages. Here, hold on a second. Let me... Okay, so you can swap through the pages. Double clicking, you can change to other items. Let's see. On the right side is our HSD. This is gives us our flight plan. If we had any steer point warning, threat circles, we would see those. It gives us an idea of how to fly. This one right here. We primarily this flight we're going to be using the air to ground, air to air, and air to ground master modes, and this is how we would select those when we want to start targeting air to air or air to ground targets. To go back to nav, you just double click it again and it takes you back to nav. Now, if you look on the HUD, you can see it says nav here, and as you switch, you can see it change. Oops. So, all right. Let's go back to nav. On the left side is our airspeed. Right side is altitude. This is our steer point 1. When we take off, we're going to be aiming for steer point 2. This tadpole tells us the direction to fly towards to get to that steer point. You see our steer point turn white. And then once we get airborne, the steer point would be a triangle on the radar. So let's go ahead and get off the ground. Put throttle to mid. And once you get rolling, turn your nose wheel steering off with shift forward space. And then we're looking for about 150, 180 knots. We'll start easing back on the stick. The plane will fly right off. Now we want to get some altitude and pull the gear up before 300 knots. If you fly over 300 knots with the gear down, they will rip off. But on takeoff, you want to be a little bit careful because you don't want to, the gears and the flaps are tied together. So if you pull your gear up too early, you can lose lift because you pull the flaps too early. So it's can be a little tricky, but just take some time to get used to. So now that we're in the air, we're now flying. You see the triangle, you see the waypoint, the tadpole. We're flying towards these objects, and I'm aiming to maintain about 10 degrees up You see we're coming through 3,000 feet, 4,000 feet. 550 or so is our max, so we're going to stay below 500. On your HUD, you now have your miles to the steer point and your times. We're about 1 minute and 20 seconds from steer point 2. You can use the autopilot. One click, left click up is altitude. And over here, a right click is steer point. So now the airplane is going to keep this altitude and fly towards that steer point, whatever steer point is selected. Okay, number 1 on your keyboard gives you HUD only view. Number 3 is cockpit. 0 is outside of the plane. Now we're getting close. We're 30 seconds away. I'm going to zoom in on the HSD, and I'm going to go ahead and turn towards steer point 3. Okay. Again, we're now 20 seconds from steer point 4, or steer point 3, sorry. And we're going to now switch to steer point 4. I'm going to begin a process called fencing in. Fencing in is the process of setting your jet up before you enter enemy airspace. So I'm checking my speed. All right, I want to turn off my lights. So I right click on these switches and they turn off together. Okay. Master arm. It's going to go on. You cannot fire a weapon without having master arm on. I wait 10 seconds for the next steer point. So we'll go ahead and get that switched. Alright, now I'm going to, since my first target is the air to ground, I'm going to go to air to ground mode. I'm dropping Mark 82s. I want to ripple 3 bombs. I want to go to control, click this button, and I'm setting both of these to 1.1 seconds. Sorry, I did it wrong. Hit enter, and then what this is the fuse delay. And so the bomb will arm within 1.1 seconds of leaving the aircraft. We are going to do 3. Alright, we're on to the next steer point. We're going to click this button and go to CCIP. See. Alright, once that's set, go to TGP, targeting pod, standby, air to ground. This is the targeting pod. I'm going to try to use it to see. Let's go ahead and go to steer point 7. Okay, I'm going to go back to the SMS. Alright, let's take a look. There goes the steer point in the HUD. You start to see the targets on the ground. Now I'm going to hit W and 4. Give my wingman permission to fire. I'm going to go in and give me some of these targets here. Also, do not forget to turn off the autopilot, like I just did. Okay. Alright, throttle back a bit. I got my 2 targets. You put the CCIP dot on, hold the trigger, 3, 2, 1. Ripple. Now I'm going to pick the next one to the right of it. Alright. Now I am off the target, full throttle. You want to come over here, go to Cat 1. The warning light is telling you that you are now in a different cat category. Alright. Good effects on target. We're going to go ahead and pull the speed back down. I'm going to pull back around and take a look. And then you see the RWR, we're already getting a B. This is the bombers that we put up, and we'll go take a look at them in a minute. So good effects. Alright. Now we're going to go to air. Full speed, and we're going to pull back around towards the warning. On the radar, we're going to kick the range out to 80. Now you start to see the radar contacts. Click the TMS up to lock it up. And now we have some new symbology. We have over here, we have, this is our closure rate, 780 knots. This symbology here is the optimal ranges for the AMRAAM. You see the carrot coming down. We want to get the carrot down into this box to be in the optimal position to fire the AMRAAM. And then that's, you'll see that same symbology is on the HUD as well. Now we're going to fly towards this target box. I'm going to kick my down. You can click norm to kind of blow up the area a bit. Alright. I'll tell my wingman to rejoin. Alright, again, we're waiting for the optimal time and then we'll fire. Oops. Alright, we're almost there. Once it's blinking, we can fire. And I'm going to fire 2. Because a lot of times it takes... Alright, pipple means that the missile is now tracking. So I can actually break the lock. Bingo. Splash. Okay, I'm going to go... the dogfight mode, which is pushing D on the control. You can hit U to uncage the missile. He's already pumping out some flares. He has a tail gunner. Alright. The cross is where the gun is going to go, and then the funnel is how the bullet's going to fly. So I like to shoot up and through. Come on. Oh, got him. Alright. We have 2 more bombers. I'm going to hit C to cancel. Actually, now I see him now. I see him. I don't need a radar. We're going to go D to go back. See if we can get a heat seeker. U to uncage. See if I can show you a heat seeker lock. Come on. There we go. Bingo. Alright, there goes that. We got one more bomber out here. We should have, yep, one more missile. Alright, where you at? Where you at? Alright, got him. There he is. Alright. Alright, we're coming across him. I'm going to slow down. I'm on the brakes. Speed brakes are open. He's going to my left. Alright, back to mid. Speed brakes closed. This is why I said put bombers up, because you can just lollygag around. Oop, oop. They're shooting at us. I didn't have a lock. Oh, I'm out of guns, out of guns. Alright, I'm off. Wingman. I don't have them locked up. Crap. And I'm out of guns. There he is. Try to get him locked up. Let's hit C to cancel dogfight. Low. Man. Weapons free. Alright, let's see. There he goes, there he goes. There he is, there he is. Do not be afraid to use your wingman in a mission. Got it. Got it. You see on the radar the bear and my wingman. Alright, wingman. Alright, we are good now. We are going to close air to air. Go back to nav. And we're going to kick the range out here. Try to find our way back. We'll go 0.8. I'm going to go ahead and kick the autopilot on. We are a bit away from the flight plan. Okay. So you can see, to be able to fire, you need your master arm on, and you need to be in the correct master mode, air to air, air to ground. Air to ground, you can use the CCIP. Let's go ahead and do that. And that gives you the pipper on the ground that you can use to target. CCRP is radar, and you can actually lock a ground target up with the radar and just fly into the heading. Depending on a target, or if you want to drop from a high altitude, that's a really good thing to do. But it's a bit beyond the scope of this tutorial. So let's go back. Again, we talked about ripple. One thing I didn't change on the bombs is above the ripple, you can set the impact spacing. So this was dropping one bomb every 175 feet. You can drop every 150, whatever you want. Most of this stays the same. If you had multiple bombs, you could click through here to cycle through the different hard spots. Actually, I see something interesting. Let's take a look and see what this is. If you lock something up with the radar, you can then click the targeted pod and look at it. Ah, it's a bridge. Oops. Sorry, TrackR is going bananas. Alright, so you can use the narrow to zoom in and out. So we're targeting this bridge up ahead. So, go back to HSD. Over here on the right is our fuel. We have 6,000 pounds. We started with 12, so we're about halfway through our fuel. Alright, let's go ahead and fence out. We will turn the master arm off. Turn our lights back on. And fly out. Let's go back to nav. Zoom in. Okay. So we're flying to this waypoint right here, and the waypoint next to it is the airport. And so you see the graphics aren't too bad. There are obviously some repetitions and things like that. It's just the nature of the this older framework. But the guys have done a really good job at trying to bring some new variety and new textures and graphics and such. Alright, so you see we are 3 minutes and 42 seconds from the target, 34 miles. Okay. Now, since we got some time here, I'm going to give you a little bit of extras that don't really pertain to this tutorial. Over here is your radar frequency. We can quiet or silence the radar. You see it says no radar. We are not emitting any signal now. On some missions, you may want to sneak in and not be blasting your radar, so you can silence it. Couple flicks up, goes back on. You can also click on this first button and go to standby. That turns the radar off. Master arm. There's also a laser arm. If you were using GPUs, you're dropping laser guided bombs, you would turn the laser on to do that. This is your flares and chaff. It's your ECM, not ECM, it's your countermeasures panel. Stay away from the jettison button. If you click that, it will drop all of your flares and chaff. Next, you have radio, you have volumes. This is your external lights, radio, fuel, battery, test. Then on the right side, these are your hard points and your electronics, lights. Again, these are like the MFDs and nav, INS system. A lot of that stuff you use in a ramp start. You turn the jet on. One of the great things is you can swap these you can set these up the way you want them to, and then you can save them to your DTE cartridge. And so every time you get into the plane and you load that cartridge, it loads the items exactly the way you want it. So here goes our runway, here goes our airport. I'm going to slow down. I'm actually going to make a left brake and loop back around. Let's turn off the autopilot. Now I'm wanting to descend to about 3,000 feet, and I want to slow my speed to below 300 knots. I'm looking to drop my landing gear. Okay, there it is. I'm going to tell wingman to go home. Alright, back to mid on the throttle. There goes the runway. I'm going to roll in. Kick my waypoint out to 9. Alright, now you can see once we drop the gear, we have a little bit new symbology. Let me get lined up here real quick. Alright, I'm going full boards out. That's the full speed brakes. About mid throttle. Keep my speed up. I'm aiming for about 180 to 200 knots. I gotta quit wobbling here. Okay. This is your AOA bracket, and then you have your 2.5 degree marker. I want to put this 2.5 degree marker on the lights, on the touchdown box, and with a flight path marker inside the AOA bracket. So that is my target of where I want to land. Where you put this flight path marker is where this plane, the plane's body, is going to go. And so when landing, the key is angle of attack. And I'm going to use power to control. A little slow. It is better to land with the flight path marker above the angle of attack bracket, the top of it, than below it. So here we go. And once we get to the point, I'm going to go full throttle off. We come down. And I'm trying to hold the nose up to aero brake. Let's see. Take a picture of that. Alright, nose come back down. 100 knots. We're going to hit K on the keyboard to slow down. Once we get to about 60 knots, we're going to hit shift forward shift / to turn on the nose wheel steering. And I'm just going to drive the plane off the runway with the rudder and the foot pedals. And then I'm just gonna pull right over here and stop. I don't really care about parking or ground rules at the moment. Let's find one of these dots. Okay. Come to a stop. We're gonna put the parking brake on. Okay, so we are done. So if you have any questions, please leave comments. Comment, like, share, subscribe. I'm going to try to do a few more of these, going a bit more detail, and then try to do some of the TEs that come from BMS. But thank you for your time.